We set about simplifying the 28.9 trillion national budget allocations for the 2017-2018 financial year using a piece of brown bread at the Serena Hotel where our offices are based.
Think of this, national budgets are hard business to understand. They are full of figures, numbers, statistics, sectors, allocations, words that a normal Ugandan wouldn't use. But imagine the national budget was this piece of bread. Tomorrow when the minister comes to read the budget, they will first of all apportion this huge sum right here. Now, this here is going to be for works and transport. The Works and Transport Ministry will take home 20.8% of our budget. That is an approximate of 4.5 trillion shillings of the national budget.
Under the works budget, money has been allocated for the standard gauge railway, a project expected to be doubly funded by government and China's Exim Bank. There are allocations to the East African Trade and Transportation Facilitation and the development of a new port in Bukasa. The redevelopment of State House Entebbe is also among that budget.
Now, because our government has borrowed heavily to finance infrastructure development, much of our budget this year will be going to paying interest on the loans that government has borrowed. The second biggest allocation in this year's budget, which is an approximate of 2.6 trillion shillings, that is almost 12.1% of our budget, will go towards interest. And you probably see Matia Kasaija do this tomorrow, though literally in words, as he cuts through the bread of the national budget.
The government has a 17 trillion shillings external debt and 11.6 trillion in domestic debt as of June 2016.
After the apportioning for interest payments, the next biggest allocation on the national budget is going to be to the critical sector of education. Now, education is going to take home 2.5 trillion shillings. That is an approximate of 11.3% of the national budget. Now, tomorrow by this time, you'll probably hear Matia Kasaija approximate this much of the national budget towards the Ministry of Education that is headed by none other than our First Lady, Janet Kataha Museveni.
Under the Ministry of Education, money will be apportioned to the revival of Akibua Olympic Stadium, the construction of a national high-altitude training center, and teacher education, among others.
Anchored into the development of the country, and as you probably heard from the State of the Nation address yesterday, is energy and mineral development. This is the sector where electricity falls. This year, that sector will take also 2.3 trillion shillings, which is approximately 10.5% of the budget. After the four big spenders of the national budget have been taken out, this is the little that will be left behind. Now, this little amounts to 10 trillion shillings, but it has to be competed for by 14 sectors. These include health, security, public administration, ICT, tourism, trade and industry. This will be the briefcase that Honorable Matia Kasaija will walk with to the Serena tomorrow to read the budget. But that briefcase attracts with it this bill, a bill which you and I, the Ugandan taxpayer, will have to pay. Now, the bill will be 28.9 trillion shillings. But in our wallets, we shall only be able to get 16 trillion shillings. And the rest will come from development finance. Is this really a budget that will be achievable? Raymond Mujini, NTV.